So today, guys, we're welcoming the great people from GridUp. It's a easier way to build on Webflow. Obviously, all of us here, or probably almost all of us, have used Reloom, which is great. We all love it. So we want to see now this new tool, which is super promising for people that want to build fast on Webflow. So Nicola, I'm gonna facilitate you here. Yeah, and just take it away and tell us all about it.
Okay, sure. Maybe I start a bit of my story and how we came to GridUp exactly. So I was also studying I'm based in Zurich exactly. So it's evening, so it's why it's a bit darker. So I was starting my freelancer career as a Webflow developer 8 years ago. So in this time, I was also working for a bigger, larger German agency. And I was really struggling with the outcome, how I built my website. So I found Webflow. So that was really in the beginning. So it was just a site builder. And then I was getting started, got more and more clients over the time. And I was really struggling with to get all the client work done. So I wanted to be financially free, serve every some clients, but I always ended up struggling with my time. So to sum it up, my ultimate goal was to earn more, work less, and have cool customers. So I tried to optimize my processes by developing a kind of a style guide, copying and duplicate projects, reusing stuff whenever I could, or even buying templates. So this was my normal process. But I kept running into the same problems over and over again. So I asked me like the most 4 questions for myself. So how do I build a structure? How neat the site should be restructured? How do I name classes? How do I use global settings best? And then I noticed that I'm doing the same task over and over again. But the task didn't bring me any benefit, but they were technically necessary in Webflow to build the page. So I sat down with my team and defined principles for us for the development process. So one of them was avoiding recurring tasks. The focus is on the quality of the result, not the development itself, and centralize everything when it's possible. So we need to come up with a solution. So we thought, okay, what's possible in Webflow, what's not? So one part is like avoiding recurring tasks with optimization, enabling board processes, and sync everything what is possible. So this was like the main point, how we came to the idea for GridUp. So let me share my screen and jump directly into the page. So we can share the screen. Share. One second, I have to check where it's. You can do it here.
Oh, it's asking you for permission?
No, I think. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So I created like a blank page. There's nothing inside at the moment. So here's now the Chrome extension is installed. So you see the GridUp icon here. And so first of all, there are different tabs. So one is the basic tab, the components tab, and the page tab. And we start with the basic tab. So here's like a site builder inside. What we have built with different steps. One is here, the first one, what we're doing is just choosing different buttons. For example, we have here 4 predefined. For example, here the primary button. Here we can use, for example, so you have like a small preview. You can also see it live. You can also mark them. For example, we choose the button 18 here. Then secondary button. So I just pick like random some of them. So 7, maybe something like that here, and button link. So these are mostly the main buttons when you build like a page. You can just choose from of the library, then you click save. Then next step is to choose a navbar for the project globally. So for example, navbar 5. Then we choose a footer. I do that one. So and then there are three different ways you can implement it to the page. So first of all, so you can delete all existing classes. So you can clean the project up, for example. Then you can override existing classes. This is the second part. And you can skip equal. So if there are classes in the project at the moment, they don't get overridden. So nothing is going to be destroyed. So when you have like a blank page, it's marked as essential, so as first one. So now you can click on build, and it's progressing. So now it's going to be, a style guide is going to be prepared and installed into your project with the navbar, footer, and also the buttons there are predefined. It takes a minute or seconds to do. So although it depends on the time, also Webflow is loading. So sometimes it takes a bit longer. So now you can see this, the style guide is implemented. So it's based on the FinSuite client first, completely the structure. So you can see it now here. So that's the GridUp style guide. When you scroll down, so there's all the details, how you create the page structure, all the details of the class system. And when we go lower, for example, you see all the buttons you have chosen, and they are also prepared as components. So they're completely ready to go. So all of the animation, also when they are complexer, some of the buttons have also like really cool animation in there. So the next step is to, so now there's more fields to add. So we have the first part, we can add multiple pages. So we can, for example, say, okay, we make an about page, services, contact. So when we click here now, the page is going to be created, so multiple pages. And the good thing is, when we go to the page now directly, for example, to the about page, you see the page, the main wrapper, the page wrapper is also implemented. Also the global embed is directly implemented. The navbar and the footer you have chosen for your project. So that's automatically added to every page you're going to build. So maybe we fill the page. So we have one time is like the components. So we can go there, and also we have completely pages. But first of all, let's choose, for example, here the about page. So there's also like a preview inside, so you can see how the page looks. When you copy, you can copy it into the project. You can, for example, delete this one. And then you can see automatically the buttons are changed from the components. So it's all connected. So when you pull a component inside or a page and you have predefined the buttons, it's automatically changing. So you don't have to do this process again to change the buttons. So if you have like really cool animated buttons in the project. So this is one part. So then we have like, we can go to the home page. So there's at the moment no page structure. So you have also like the possibility when you go on the basic tab to add the page structure to existing pages. So for example, we have the home, then we add structure, and the main wrapper is also getting implemented to the page. So you can see it here again. And then you can also have the options to go to the components. For example, you go to the headers. So you can also filter for different ones, what you're searching for. Then maybe let's take one of them here, maybe here, header 14. And we put it into the page. So also you see like the component, also the button is also changing. And then you can quickly, for example, I just tagged here some to implement them. So we are a bit faster. So you can copy them in the project. For example, this one. So what we also have, we have like a style sync in there. So when you, for example, change the color, maybe make it to red. So there will be no duplicate classes anymore. So when we go back, for example, and pick again the content 19, and put it into the wrapper, so there will be no duplicate content. So it's automatically connected together. So you don't have to rename the classes again and again. So that's all connected. We also work with a lot of custom components. We have, for example, all sliders. So they automatically have like affinity scroll in there. So that's also completely implemented in the components. Yeah, so this is like the main of the building process. So yeah, we have a lot of components. I think at the moment we have like over 500, and we're adding more and more over the time. So this is like what you can directly build in Webflow. So to sum it up, so with GridUp, you can automate setup processes, have like a database that's completely synchronized together. This way you don't have to replace complex buttons in each component, so you can change it every time, as I mentioned before. Create pages individually, fill them with page structures, navbar, footer. No needs to replace duplicate classes. This means also you make lesser mistakes, and the style guide is all completely centralized together. So our long-term goal, our plan is to make the setup process directly in our extension, so you don't have to change colors, font separately, and it's all set up completely in the setup process. So for us, it's really important to get early feedback, also for the Chrome extension, so that we make sure we meet your requirements and also what you are looking for. And maybe you have also like cool ideas you wanted to implement. So yeah, I'm very open to have an open discussion on what you think, and I'm keen to know what you think about the extension.
Wow. I am shocked. Oh my God, this is crazy. I know everybody was freaking out. I mean, this is super, super, super comprehensive. Yeah, so like tell us more about like building this. How long did it take you? And then before that, let's talk about price. How much does it cost?
When you make it yearly, like $33 a month. So we are very focusing to build more. So we have to, because we have like a also like a team behind it. We had like 4 months of development time exactly, I think, how we implemented. Because we had also wanted to make a translation directly in Webflow. We find a solution to do that. But when we was on the conf, we talked to the Webflow, to like Flat, and also, and he said like, oh, we're building something, so we stepped back, and also we're focusing more on the style guide system to make it better. Yeah, so that's mainly how long it takes. Yeah.
You thought of everything. I think it's so cool because obviously like we use other tools and you have to copy and paste and kind of like come back and forth, but having it there, and you didn't even stop there only, like you made sure that you could have your style guide there. You thought even further on the whole like button thing, and then being able to copy like whole pages or also components and custom components. Like I would love to hear other people's opinions and tell them why this is something that you would use, that you would not, because I'm sure he would use a lot of feedback from all of us. But yeah, like I'm loving it. Such a great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have the first question. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hello, Nicholas. Hello, Melissa.
Hey. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah. Hey, guys. So,
Oh.
So first of all, great job. Honestly, I was checking it before the stream, and to be honest, I was a little bit hesitant because it seemed very similar to Reloom, but I can see that it's so much powerful. I especially like the, adding custom pages. So my question is, can you, as you basically preloaded what pages you are going to add, can you do the same thing with sections? So I have a page and I basically can pre-select which sections do I want to add with components.
Yes. So you mean like a multi-select for components, and then you copy it directly into the
Yes.
So we had also like the idea, and also we wanted to go out to see if there's like a need, and personally you use it. So we have also that on our roadmap to add it. So multi-select components and then implement it directly in the main wrapper. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds great.
That's cool.
Who else wants to come forward?
Well, I have one question. So, for example, what if I want to design and build my own components and reuse them? Because the user interface, like the way you guys build the user interface and the flow, it's incredible because it's all there. Like it's easy to preview what you're going to include, easy to copy and paste. It's great. The flow itself, it's amazing. How can I extend that with my own components? Is that possible? Is it that on the roadmap at some point? So yeah.
That's a good question. So what is happening in the process? What we are doing? There are components in your project, and if you, for example, you want to use like your own navbar you have built, you just have there's like a div block in there. You can delete the navbar you have chosen and put your navbar inside, and it's automatically added to every page. So this is also possible to build. Also, it's similar to the buttons. So if you change the button inside, maybe I can share it for a second so you understand what I mean. So I can show you that. I think it's best. Let me jump in again. So what was happening is like you see they're all. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you see they're all components now. I mean, for example, you go in the navbar. There's like one div block in the head. So you can delete this navbar, for example, put your own navbar in there, and our system knows, okay, this is the div block, and it put it different to every page. So you can change it directly in the system.
It. Yeah, no, but what I mean is like, for example, what if I want to create my own library of components? Like I have like custom components that are very different than what I see there, and I want to reuse those components on different projects. Can I do that with GridUp? Is that possible? Like having my own collection? No.
So what we are also thinking about is to that you can upload your components there, and then it's automated. You can put it in. So that's also what we report to do. So we have different stuff we are working on at the moment. So more like bulk processes at the moment, so that you can put a different animation to different pages, for example. So such stuff like that. So all this recurring tasks, but it will be also something what we have written down, but not planned to develop at the moment. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, one more question. So when you add, for example, a section from carrier, like the carrier one, you have already tags, basically filters implemented. So are you by default add the ThinkSuite filtering system, or we have to add it manually?
We do it. Also, we put in the components. Also, we set everything. So yeah. Yeah, muted, I think.
Yeah, no, it's really cool actually. So yeah, great job.
So Robert had a question earlier that said, so these plugins are all built upon the Webflow API. He wants to know the behind the scenes.
Yes, so we have. I'm not the software engineer, so we have like one on my team. So, but it's the Webflow API. So we use that there correctly to build like also like the Chrome extension, and we connect it together.
Cool. Any more questions, guys? Five.
I would love to know, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I would love to. I think you mentioned that there's like pre-built animations and interactions for some buttons. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes. So this buttons, what we have in our library, they have a lot of them are basic ones, but are also completely animated. So with like as like I didn't show it like the other one, I think. So they are completely connected. So there are different animation in the buttons. So
Okay,
you have to test them
cool.
what you like. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that to me, that's super appealing because every time I start a project, my objective is to get to animating things as quickly as possible. And I feel so slowed down by the like hover in, duplicate to do hover out. If I'm doing anything that I can't do in like the normal style panel. So to me, that would be appealing just to like have those kind of like pre-set up, and then I can just adjust them. Not that it's like a huge time sink, but yeah, that
Yes,
sounds really
it's
cool.
really annoying. I know the problem. So it's good when you have like your buttons, they are very completely done and animated. For example, like with a line or something that's completely animated.
Yeah. Sorry, there wasn't really a question in there. I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
so-
we have yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and last question. So, yeah, I'm just gonna ask you. So we already have Reloom on the market, and they are here like, I don't know, more than a year, almost 2 years here. So how do you guys see yourself in the future? How do you want to, differentiate yourself to be, competitive?
So our focus was not really the components, but the completed process of the extension is more to help you to build smarter in Webflow, because over the years I worked for a lot of big projects, and every time when I was building the pages, there was so small like little details what you have to add, and also when you want to build faster also. So our goal is more to extend the extension, also for sure build components, but we want to build something that's more connected together. So because the style guide is I think it's necessary to have it. When I think Webflow has, it maybe for other site builders, so they have like the style guide indirectly. Webflow has not this style guide directly. So we want to also like focusing on colors to adding that. So you have to change everything manually, and that's annoying, I think personally, and also to add the different classes or change something. So we want to connect it completely together in the style guide. So our focus is more to build the complete style guide, and then we can also add components. So yourself components, what you are building. So because everybody has his own style also to build components. And we also were thinking about that you can you add your own style guide, for example. So all this this question we ask ourselves, because everybody is individual, everybody is working differently. So this is we are really more focusing on. So to build like a solution that's doable, and for now a lot of people work with FinSuite, and FinSuite is very cool, and I think it helped a lot of people. So it was the first step to see, is there a market, do the people like it, and then we can extend and develop more and more solutions. So this is where we're focusing on more on the extension to build smarter.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Okay, Isan, you want to go, or you already asked?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It mentioned on that you can delete the existing classes and update with the GridUp classes. What does that mean for if you buy like a template or something that's not built with client first? What does that do?
Okay. So the first option is really clean the complete project. So all classes that are in the project, they're going to be deleted, and the new class is going to be added to the project. So all classes, everything that you have built is completely destroyed. So it's very, sometimes you need it. I had, like, for example, projects where I have to delete everything, but I wanted to keep the structure in the page so I can build everything together, for example. The other way is like you have like different classes in the system at the moment. So in a new page, and maybe it's text small, for example. And when the GridUp extension sees, okay, there's a text small, we don't overwrite it. Or the other way is it's going to be overridden, that the style guide is completely set up correctly. So these three options do we offer in our extension.
Thank you.
Cool.
Cool.
Jay, you want to ask your question? Jay? Okay, then we can go with Mihai.
Yeah, so I already left the question inside the thread itself, but yeah, I can ask it also verbally. It's not a problem. So is there a possibility to connect an external source of tokens, for example, from a design system in order to override or manage the style guides itself? Because, for example, if we're trying to use the library itself, we need to inject styles that are already predefined, and they are not actually driven by something inside Webflow, but it's an external source of truth. So we understood the components, it's a different part, but at least the style guide, for example, the fonts and the colors and things like that, in order to at least bridge the gap for the time being. Is that possible in any way?
Not yet. So I hope I understand you correctly. So you mean like, how do you mean like the fonts exactly? So how do you want to add it?
Yeah, so for example, the design tokens that are basically in the design system have already predefined style guides for colors. For example, you have the primary scale and so on. And then, for example, for font usage, because we have multiple partners with white labeling, they use the same type scale inside the system, but they have different fonts, for example, which are based in the design tokens file, which then are basically uploaded. And for example, when we're creating landing pages for the different partners, we need to use actually styles that maybe use a different font that we are using right now. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, yeah. So when for example, when we use like different in one project different classes, or for example different fonts, we prepare like different classes for it. So we upload the font directly in Webflow, and then we create classes directly for that. We added this to our style guide. So there's no way to integrate at the moment something exactly in our style guide.
Okay, thank you.
Martin, did that answer your question or no? Okay, because Martin says, so for now, it looks like we can add a component with the name, for example, component 19-section, which include next divs with the same name of component, for example, component 19_component. Is there a possibility to name a component from a library before we upload it to a project to have our naming?
I understand. No, that's not possible at the moment. So they are. You have to see it like so. Like when we build like the components, so we have to upload it in our system, and the components you can't. I think you could connect it, and you can change the names, but it's very too complex to implement it. So that's very hard to do beforehand.
Okay. Let's see if there's more people here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to comment I expect this morning. This is fucking awesome, especially for my nerd ADD brain. And to talk about like what other people were saying and stuff like this. This is what I think Webflow should already have. And you feel like kind of like me. It's like, well, if they don't have it, I'm just gonna make it. You know what I mean? And the attention to detail is so high that you don't have to worry about things, right? And you want to be able to push this under a team that you're all following the same rule set, right? So this is a nice origination. And for me, a style guide is a no questions asked. If you want to work with me, you have to have one. And I charge for it, and it's a big ticket item, right? Because that defines everything for the site. And that can help to decide advertisements on print, on paper and stuff like that. So I've converted to doing all of my actual full company branding and everything inside of a website and show it, you know, like that way as well, so that they can see that it can start there. And if it can start at the top, it can definitely waterfall down to the bottom and do everything else. So my brain is going nuts on all the ideas that I could have. And at first in text, I was talking and I was like, oh, this is better than Reloom. But like, this is another tool. I think this is before a Reloom step. And I don't even think you guys are kind of not even really in the same market, because you're prepping and getting everyone ready to do things right, so you don't have to worry about it, right? And you can even take old things, like you were saying, coming in and bring them to the structure that you and your entire team is going to do going forward. So it's almost a correction. It's almost like back in the day, I'm older. It's almost like a Windows wizard. Like it walks you through, and like you could just sit there. Yes. So keep going. Take people's comments and bring it in and make it. I mean, fuck, keep going and make Webflow buy you out, right? That's how you do business. Is you make a business, have the big guys buy you out, and then you do a business you really want to do and go make more money. You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say. I love it. Wasn't expecting. I wasn't even going to get on today. I'm glad I did. This is awesome, because I'm setting up my company as soon as we get off. So you'll have another subscriber for a full year. So
thank you, Jay. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I completely agree with Jay. And I think like the biggest advantage from what I see here is like the workflow itself. It's so well built, so well refined, easy to use. I love it. And I think that if you guys keep pushing and like Jay said, taking feedback from the community and like adding more stuff, this will be a killer product and has a huge chance, in my opinion, to like even be better than Reloom or Client First, FinSuite, whatever. You have the chance to blow up the competition for sure. What I would do, like few suggestions is, one is like adding the ability for you to create custom component libraries inside that workflow and let people like build their own sets of components and reuse it across multiple projects. For me, that's something that I'm still yet to see someone doing properly. And another thing that Webflow misses a lot right now, and Framer gets it right, is syncing things between Figma and Webflow. So if you guys find a way to also include, because everyone's using the same process more or less, like you design on Figma, you define all the style guide stuff there, then you migrate to Webflow. If you can sync between Figma and Webflow somehow, that will also be a differentiator factor for sure. So just a few ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we also thought of something like that. Yeah, it's really cool. Thank you.
Maria, you wanna say what you were saying on the chat, like folders renaming through the FinSuite extension?
No, I was answering
like naming.
It's a fast way to rename components in the client first when you use client first, because you can go to the folder, and if the structure is correct, you just change component 19 to whatever, and then everything is renamed whenever, and the rest of cascades down. So
yeah,
and
so
then,
that answers
and then
your
you go
question,
to the
Marty.
point where like Diego was saying, yeah, if you have custom components, yeah, then you already changed them before, but I don't think it's such a huge hassle right now. Already it's like a huge improvement actually to renaming classes.
Yep. Cool. Anybody else wants to jump in the combo? No? Okay, well, thank you so much, Nicholas, for coming and showing us GridUp. We are rooting for you guys. I'm sure a lot of people now are going to start using it and testing it. Please always come back when you want any feedback for product launches or whatever it is, whatever you're developing, we're here to give you feedback. And yeah, if there's anything else you want to say, where to find you guys or follow up with product updates, please do so.
Okay. Thank you for having us. So I will come 100% back. So it was really cool. I liked it. Cool evening. So for me, it's very late. So thanks a lot.
What time is it?
It's not very late, but it's 8. Yeah, 8 in the evening.
Oh wow.
So on Friday.
Yeah. We're some that we're more to the east. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.